Have you ever met someone and instantly felt you understood them, even though they didn't say much? Or maybe you've walked into a room and sensed tension, excitement, or curiosity before a single word was spoken. That's the power of observation. The ability to read people, notice details, and understand what's happening beneath the surface. Observing others isn't about spying or judging, it's about paying attention, understanding human behavior, and connecting on a deeper level. In a world filled with distractions, few people truly notice what's happening around them. Most focus only on what they want to see or hear, missing subtle cues that can reveal intentions, emotions, and patterns. But those who develop the skill of observation gain an edge, professionally and personally. They can anticipate reactions, understand motivations, and communicate more effectively. Observation is a skill you can train, just like any other. It requires patience, awareness, and curiosity. Whether you want to strengthen relationships, improve your career, or simply understand people better, mastering observation can transform the way you interact with the world. In this script, we will explore 8 powerful skills to help you observe anyone with clarity, accuracy, and insight, and unlock the hidden details that most people miss. Skill 1. Pay attention to body language. When it comes to observing anyone, body language is one of the most powerful tools you can use. Words can be rehearsed, exaggerated, or even completely false, but the body rarely lies. Your posture, gestures, facial expressions, and movement reveal more about a person's thoughts and feelings than anything they say. Learning to read these signals gives you insight into emotions, intentions, and even personality traits. Start with posture. Someone standing tall with shoulders back often exudes confidence, while slouched shoulders or a lowered head may indicate insecurity, fatigue, or discomfort. Subtle shifts in weight can show whether someone is engaged or trying to distance themselves. For example, leaning forward slightly often signals interest, whereas leaning back or crossing arms can indicate defensiveness or disengagement. Next, focus on gestures and hand movements. People who use open gestures, such as palms facing up or outward, are often open and receptive. Closed gestures, like clenched fists or hands hidden in pockets, can signal tension or concealment. Even small movements, like touching the face or neck, can reveal nervousness or hesitation. Facial expressions are perhaps the most revealing. A genuine smile engages the muscles around the eyes, while a forced smile rarely does. Micro-expressions, those fleeting emotions that appear and vanish in a fraction of a second, can give away what someone is truly feeling. Observe the eyes. Rapid blinking, gaze direction, and pupil dilation can indicate stress, attraction, or focus. It's important to remember context. Body language varies depending on the situation, culture, and personality. One sign doesn't tell the whole story. Combine multiple observations to form a more accurate understanding. Also, avoid jumping to conclusions. Always corroborate nonverbal cues with verbal information and patterns over time. Practice is essential. Start by observing people in everyday situations, at a coffee shop, in meetings, or during conversations with friends. Notice how body language changes in different scenarios. Over time, you'll begin to pick up patterns that most people miss. Mastering this skill allows you to understand others on a deeper level, anticipate reactions, and communicate more effectively. Because once you know how someone feels without them saying a word, you gain insight that can transform every interaction. Skill 2. Listen beyond words. Observing someone effectively goes far beyond noticing how they look. It requires truly listening. And by listening, we don't just mean hearing their words, we mean understanding the meaning, emotion, and intent behind what they say. People often communicate more through tone, choice of words, and pauses than through the words themselves. When you learn to listen deeply, you gain insight into their mindset, priorities, and personality. Start with tone of voice. A person's tone can convey confidence, hesitation, anger, excitement, or uncertainty. For example, two people might say the same sentence, "I'm fine." One might sound calm and sincere, while the other may sound tense or sarcastic. Listening to the subtle variations in pitch, volume, and rhythm can reveal their true emotional state. Pay attention to pauses and hesitations. When someone pauses before answering a question, it may indicate thoughtfulness, uncertainty, or even avoidance. Similarly, fast or rushed speech can signal anxiety, nervousness, or eagerness. Observe patterns in how someone talks over time. These patterns often reveal deeper habits and emotional tendencies. Word choice is another key aspect. The words people choose often reflect their mindset and priorities. Someone who repeatedly uses inclusive language, like we or us, may value collaboration. Someone who frequently emphasizes "I" may focus more on individual perspective. Listen carefully for recurring phrases, metaphors, or stories. They provide clues about what the person values or fears. Context is crucial. Listening effectively also means noting how their words align with their actions and body language. If someone says they are confident but avoids eye contact and speaks softly, the mismatch is significant. Observing these contradictions helps you understand not just what someone wants to project, but what they truly feel. Practice this skill in everyday conversations. Focus fully on the speaker. Avoid preparing your response while they are talking, and notice tone, phrasing, and subtle clues. Over time, you will naturally start detecting emotional nuances and hidden intentions. Listening beyond words allows you to understand people on a much deeper level. It transforms observation from passive noticing into active insight, making you more perceptive, empathetic, and effective in every interaction. Skill 3. Observe facial expressions closely. One of the most telling aspects of human behavior is the face. Facial expressions are windows into a person's emotions, intentions, and even honesty. Unlike words, which can be carefully chosen or rehearsed, the face often reacts instinctively. Learning to read these expressions can dramatically enhance your ability to observe anyone and understand what they are truly feeling. Start with the basics: the eyes, eyebrows, and mouth. The eyes reveal attention, interest, or discomfort. Dilated pupils may indicate excitement or attraction, while narrowed eyes can signal skepticism or suspicion. Rapid blinking or shifting eye contact often points to nervousness, stress, or uncertainty. Eyebrows are equally expressive. Raised eyebrows can convey surprise or curiosity, while furrowed brows may indicate frustration, anger, or concentration. The mouth is another critical signal. A genuine smile engages the muscles around the eyes, while a forced smile often stops at the lips. Tight or pursed lips may reveal tension, disagreement, or disapproval. Micro-expressions, those fleeting expressions lasting only a fraction of a second, can reveal concealed emotions like fear, sadness, or irritation, even if the person is trying to hide them. Learning to notice these tiny cues gives you access to what someone is feeling beneath the surface. Observe patterns rather than isolated moments. One fleeting expression doesn't tell the whole story. Compare the facial expressions with the person's words and body language. Consistency often reflects authenticity, while mismatches can indicate hidden feelings, discomfort, or dishonesty. Cultural context is important too. Some expressions may vary between cultures, so practice awareness and sensitivity. Observe people in different situations, during work discussions, casual conversations, or public interactions. Notice how their expressions shift with different topics, people, or emotional triggers. Practice is the key to mastery. Start by paying attention to faces in everyday life, baristas at a cafe, co-workers in a meeting, or strangers in public spaces. The more you train yourself to notice subtle movements, the more naturally you will pick up on emotions and intentions. Mastering the observation of facial expressions equips you with an extraordinary skill, the ability to understand people on a level that words alone can never reach, deepening both personal and professional connections. Skill 4. Notice gestures and movements. Beyond facial expressions, a person's gestures and overall movements provide a wealth of information about their thoughts, feelings, and intentions. Observing these subtle behaviors is a key skill in understanding anyone more deeply. Unlike words, which can be controlled or manipulated, gestures often occur unconsciously, revealing what someone is truly experiencing. Start by paying attention to hand movements. Open hands, relaxed fingers, and outward-facing palms typically indicate openness, honesty, and receptiveness. On the other hand, clenched fists, fidgeting, or hands hidden in pockets may signal tension, anxiety, or discomfort. Subtle hand touches, such as rubbing the neck or touching the face, can also suggest nervousness or hesitation. These small movements can give insight into someone's emotional state, even when they try to conceal it. Body posture is another critical cue. Leaning forward often shows engagement, interest, or agreement, while leaning back or crossing arms can suggest defensiveness, disinterest, or resistance. The way someone positions their legs, shifts their weight, or angles their body can provide clues about how they feel in a conversation or environment. Observe pacing and motion patterns. People who move quickly may be energetic, anxious, or impatient, whereas slower, deliberate movements often reflect calmness or careful thought. Watch how gestures align with speech. When someone's gestures support their words, they are usually confident and sincere. When gestures contradict their words, there may be hidden tension, doubt, or deception. It's important to consider context. Culture, environment, and personal habits can affect gestures and movement. Observe patterns over time rather than making judgments based on a single gesture. Practice noticing these behaviors in everyday life. Watch people in meetings, social gatherings, or public spaces. Focus on how gestures change with different topics, moods, and social dynamics. Over time, your mind will begin to pick up patterns automatically, allowing you to interpret body language with accuracy. By observing gestures and movements carefully, you gain a deeper understanding of anyone's true feelings and intentions, improving your ability to connect, communicate, and respond appropriately. Skill 5. Pay attention to eye contact. Eyes are often called the windows to the soul, and for good reason. They communicate emotions, intentions, and focus in ways that words cannot. Learning to observe eye contact effectively is a powerful skill for understanding anyone, whether in personal interactions, professional settings, or casual conversations. Start by noticing where someone is looking. Direct eye contact generally indicates engagement, confidence, and interest. When a person maintains eye contact, it shows they are present and focused on the conversation. Conversely, frequent glances away or avoiding eye contact may suggest discomfort, nervousness, or even deception. However, cultural and personal factors can influence eye contact, so it's important to consider context and individual habits. The intensity and duration of eye contact also carry meaning. Too little eye contact can make someone appear shy or disinterested, while excessive staring might seem confrontational or aggressive. Pay attention to natural shifts. Looking away to think or reflect is often a sign of thoughtfulness, not avoidance. Likewise, rapid blinking can indicate stress, anxiety, or nervous excitement. Observe pupil dilation as well. Pupils tend to enlarge when a person is interested, stimulated, or emotionally engaged. While subtle, this can be a clue to their true reaction in a situation. Similarly, squinting or narrowing of the eyes may indicate skepticism or discomfort. Eye movements can reveal patterns of thought. People often glance up, down, or sideways when recalling memories, imagining scenarios, or constructing answers. By observing these patterns over time, you can gain insight into how someone processes information or responds to different topics. Combine eye contact with other cues like facial expressions, gestures, and tone of voice to form a fuller understanding. One isolated sign rarely tells the whole story. Patterns and consistency across multiple interactions are what provide reliable insight. Practice this skill in everyday life. Pay attention to friends, coworkers, or strangers in public spaces. Notice how their eyes react when talking about certain topics or interacting with different people. Over time, you'll start picking up subtle signals that reveal emotions, thoughts, and intentions. Mastering observation through eye contact allows you to connect more deeply, understand others more clearly, and respond in ways that build trust and rapport. Skill 6. Observe speech patterns and word choices. When learning how to observe anyone, listening to the way they speak is just as important as noticing their body language or facial expressions. Speech patterns, tone, and word choice can reveal a lot about a person's emotions, mindset, and personality. Paying attention to these details allows you to gain deeper insight into what someone is thinking and feeling, even if they aren't explicitly stating it. Start with pacing. Some people speak quickly when they are excited, nervous, or anxious. Rapid speech can indicate a mind that is racing or a desire to get through a topic quickly. Slow, deliberate speech often shows thoughtfulness, confidence, or caution. Pauses are equally important. Strategic pauses can indicate contemplation, hesitation, or emphasis, while awkward or frequent pauses may signal uncertainty or discomfort. Next, notice tone and inflection. The same words can convey completely different emotions, depending on how they are spoken. A flat or monotone delivery may suggest boredom, detachment, or fatigue. A lively, varied tone often indicates enthusiasm or engagement. Rising inflections at the end of sentences can show uncertainty or a request for validation, while strong, falling intonations communicate confidence. Word choice is another revealing factor. Pay attention to repeated phrases, metaphors, or language patterns. Someone who consistently uses inclusive words like we or our may value collaboration, while frequent use of I or me can indicate a more individualistic perspective. Choice of adjectives, descriptive language, or exaggeration can reveal emotional intensity or personal biases. Listen for consistency between words and actions. If someone says they are confident but their tone is hesitant, or if they express interest but speak in clipped sentences, this contrast can highlight underlying feelings that may not be openly shared. Practice observing speech patterns by focusing on conversations around you. Pay attention not just to content, but also to how people deliver it. Over time, you'll begin to pick up subtle cues about personality, mood, and intention. Mastering this skill allows you to understand others more fully, anticipate reactions, and respond thoughtfully, making your observations more accurate and your interactions more effective. Skill 7. Pay attention to environment and context. Observing someone effectively isn't just about noticing their body language, words, or tone. It also involves paying attention to the environment and context in which they are interacting. People behave differently depending on their surroundings, the situation, and the people around them. By carefully considering these factors, you can gain a more accurate understanding of their behavior and intentions. Start by observing how someone reacts to different situations. A person may act confident and relaxed among friends, but become reserved or cautious in professional settings. Noticing these shifts helps you understand how environment influences their comfort levels, stress responses, and social tendencies. For example, someone who dominates conversations in casual settings may take a more collaborative or hesitant approach in formal meetings. Consider the role of social context. Group dynamics, hierarchy, and peer presence can shape behavior. People often adjust their tone, posture, or gestures depending on who is watching. Someone may show deference to authority figures, exhibit competitiveness with peers, or become more expressive with close friends. Observing how someone interacts across multiple contexts can reveal patterns in their personality, values, and priorities. The physical environment also matters. Noise, temperature, and space can influence behavior and emotional responses. Crowded or stressful environments can make people more defensive, impatient, or cautious. Quiet, comfortable settings may encourage openness and relaxation. By taking note of these environmental factors, you can interpret behaviors more accurately instead of misreading them. Patterns over time are key. One isolated observation may not tell the full story. Watch how someone behaves in different settings, around different people, and under varying circumstances. Look for consistencies and differences that reveal their natural tendencies, coping strategies, and emotional triggers. Practicing this skill involves conscious awareness. During meetings, social gatherings, or public spaces, observe how people adjust to surroundings and circumstances. Ask yourself how environment and context might shape their behavior. By combining these observations with body language, tone, and word choice, you'll gain a comprehensive understanding of anyone. Mastering this skill allows you to interpret behavior more accurately, predict responses, and communicate with insight, making your observations far more precise and meaningful. Skill 8. Look for patterns and consistencies. The final skill in observing anyone effectively is learning to recognize patterns and consistencies in behavior, speech, and reactions. While a single gesture, comment, or expression can be misleading, repeated behaviors reveal much more about a person's true character, emotional tendencies, and priorities. Observing patterns allows you to distinguish between temporary moods and long-term habits, giving you deeper insight into who someone really is. Start by paying attention to repeated behaviors. Does someone consistently fidget when stressed? Do they maintain eye contact only in certain situations? Do they often smile or laugh when nervous? These repeated signals provide clues to their emotional responses and coping mechanisms. Patterns are more reliable than isolated moments because they show how a person behaves over time under different circumstances. Speech patterns are equally revealing. Notice if someone uses specific phrases or words repeatedly. Do they often express optimism, skepticism, or caution? Are their sentences short and direct, or long and elaborate? Over time, these speech habits give insight into their mindset, values, and priorities. Consistency across different contexts is also important. Compare how someone behaves in public versus private, with friends versus authority figures, or under stress versus relaxation. Consistent behaviors in varying situations are often the most telling indicators of personality traits. Conversely, inconsistencies may highlight areas where a person adapts, masks emotions, or responds strategically. Observing patterns requires patience and attention to detail. Take mental notes of recurring gestures, tones, phrases, and reactions. Over time, your mind begins to recognize these patterns automatically, allowing you to anticipate responses, understand motivations, and communicate more effectively. Finally, combine pattern recognition with other observational skills. Body language, facial expressions, tone of voice, eye contact, and context. This holistic approach gives you a clear and accurate picture of the person you are observing. Mastering the ability to identify patterns transforms casual observation into a powerful tool. It allows you to read people with accuracy, understand their emotions and intentions, and interact in ways that build trust, connection, and influence. Conclusion: observing people is not just a skill, it's a superpower that transforms how you understand the world and connect with others. By paying attention to body language, listening beyond words, studying facial expressions, and noticing gestures, you begin to see the emotions and intentions that are often hidden beneath the surface. Eye contact, speech patterns, and word choices reveal even deeper insights, while understanding context and environment helps you interpret behavior accurately. Finally, recognizing patterns and consistencies allows you to predict responses and build meaningful connections. Mastering these 8 skills doesn't happen overnight. It requires patience, awareness, and practice. Every conversation, every interaction, every observation is an opportunity to strengthen your ability to read people. The more you train yourself to notice the subtle cues that others miss, the more confident, empathetic, and perceptive you become. When you observe effectively, you gain a deeper understanding of human behavior, improve communication, and foster stronger relationships. You can anticipate reactions, respond thoughtfully, and influence with authenticity. Commit to developing this skill every day, and watch how it transforms your personal and professional life. Observation is not just seeing, it's understanding. And understanding others is the first step toward mastering the art of connection.